Welcome to the Stoic Responder Podcast. I'm your host, Christopher Healy. As a special agent who spent more than 15 years conducting large-scale fraud, money laundering, and public corruption investigations, Stoic philosophy provided a mindset edge that became the foundation of my professional success. My mission today is to share those same ancient mindset lessons with you so that you can turn obstacles into opportunities and adversity into advantage. Time to muster up. All right, folks, welcome back to the Stoic Responder Podcast. This is episode 23, and the title of the episode is Facts First. Guys, I'm your host, Christopher Healy. I'm going to start you out with a quote today from Marcus Aurelius. It says, "The first rule is to keep an untroubled spirit. The second is to look things in the face and know them for what they are." Now, just a quick reminder, because I don't talk about this enough, but Marcus Aurelius was writing in his personal journal when he wrote these things. That personal journal became known to us as Meditations. It was discovered after his death. It kind of went into mass production with the Gutenberg printing press in the 1500s, and it has been a foundational principle book on how to be a good person, but how to be a good leader ever since. And so whenever I'm pulling these quotes from Marcus Aurelius, that's the source material. It is the emperor of Rome. It is the most powerful man in the universe at that time, reminding himself how to be a better leader and how to be a better person. So I love Meditations for that reason, especially. There's so much great wisdom in there, but I love it because it's not performative. It's not intended for public consumption. It was intended for one man, an audience of one, reminding himself how to be a better person, how to be more resilient, how to have better control over your emotions, which makes you a better leader. So let's dive right into it, guys. What is this quote really talking about? It's talking about keeping an untroubled spirit. If you listen to yesterday's podcast, we're talking about resilience. We're talking about the inner citadel. This marries up very closely with that. To keep an untroubled spirit is to cultivate emotional resilience. It's the ability to withstand life's trials without being overwhelmed by negative emotions like anger, fear, or despair, the sort of things that we have to deal with on a daily basis as first responders. But to succeed in this endeavor, we have to be rational and reality-based in our thinking. We cannot be worried about all of the things that might occur, that might happen, all the things that are not reality-based, that are imaginary. Right? Our imaginations, we suffer far more, as Seneca says, in our imaginations than in reality. So if we want to keep an untroubled spirit, we first have to focus on being reality-based in our thinking. Now, that's great because we are a fact-first sort of organization, those of us in the law enforcement community. Facing reality makes us more effective problem solvers, and that's what we all are, right? We walk into a situation, we walk into a chaotic scene, we have to be the problem solvers. We have to be able to get that OODA loop functioning at a fast enough pace to make a difference, right? That is our job, is to be effective problem solvers. It's harder to be an effective problem solver when you are worried about things outside your control, when you do not have an untroubled spirit, when you are not looking things in the face and knowing them for what they are, as Marcus Aurelius says. So we have to face reality directly every day. We have to understand the true nature of a situation so we can devise thoughtful and pragmatic solutions and approach our challenges with serenity and insight. So folks, instead of denying reality, instead of distorting facts to comport with our worldview, instead of what-ifing things to death, instead of putting things in that oh my gosh, that imaginary space where things are upsetting us and causing concern, you must confront them with honesty and with clarity. You must detach yourself emotionally from things so that you can see them for what they are. You must detach yourself from your illusions. You must detach yourself from your false beliefs. You must just detach yourself from half-truths, from things that may or may not occur, that are outside of your effective control. And you must focus first and foremost on the things that you do control, which is your actions, your reactions, your effort, your attitude. If you want to live with an untroubled spirit, you also have to put facts first. You have to see reality for what it is, not for what you wish it would be, not for what you assume it is, not for what you'd like it to be, but for what it actually is, and deal with the facts on the ground in front of you. This applies to things. We do this very well in a law enforcement setting, right? We walk into a situation and we are, what are the facts? Who did what? Who said what? Let me talk to witnesses. Let me collect evidence. Let me do my investigation, and then let me proceed, right? We put our facts first. But do we really do that outside of the job? Do we do that well in life outside of the job? No. We're constantly worried about the extraneous. We're constantly attached to our emotions about a subject. We're constantly attached to all of these other things, how people perceive us, how people see us, what may or may not occur. Again, we suffer more in imagination than in reality because we don't put facts first in every aspect of our life. We need to start walking into situations with objective reasonableness. We need to look at the facts as they are and put them first if we want to maintain an untroubled spirit. And again, as Marcus is telling us, the best way to keep that resilient soul, that resilient mind, that untroubled spirit is to look at things in the face and know them for what they are. Again, be objectively reasonable, not just on the job, not just in the collection of facts from an evidentiary capacity, but in every aspect of your lives. Take out your pencil, take out your pen, take out your journal, write this down. I want you to ask this question of yourself. What false beliefs and illusions must I disconnect from to keep an untroubled spirit? You could simplify this. You could ask yourself in every single situation that you walk into, in your personal life and on the job, 3 simple words. What is true? Constantly be asking yourself what is true. And if something is not true, if it's something you were assuming, if it's something you are troubling yourself with that may or may not actually occur, pause. What is true? Put facts first. See things for what they are. Look them in the face for what they actually are, not what you wish they were, not what you fear they might be, but for what they actually are, and react to that, because that allows you to have greater control. It allows you to disconnect from that untroubled spirit. It allows you to grow resilience because you're focused on that which is directly in front of you, which is in your control. Roger that? All right, folks, a couple of things you can do to support this podcast if you're liking it. Number 1, pick up a copy of my book, In Valor, 365 Stoic Meditations for First Responders. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, anywhere that you get your books. You can get it on my website, ChristopherHealy.com. You can find a link at the show links. You can find a link on Amazon or in Instagram. You can find a link on my LinkedIn. You can find a link here on Substack if you're listening there. Anywhere that you get this book, you get a copy of it. Read it for yourself, get a copy for somebody else, share this message with somebody that supports this podcast, and I appreciate it greatly. Number 2, you can subscribe to our Substack channel, which is a completely free resource, which is going to send 4 podcasts a week to your email inbox, as well as getting you a copy of my weekly newsletter that goes out that typically is a deeper dive onto some Stoic leadership principles. If you're into personal development, if you're into leadership, if you want to be a better leader and you want to take some lessons from Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest leaders in human history, that's going to come to you free in your email as well weekly if you sign up for the Stoic Responder Substack. Again, completely free resource. I want it for you and for anyone that you work with who could use these lessons. And number 3, and finally, like, share, and subscribe this podcast so that others can learn about what we're doing here and can find it. Folks, thanks so much. Before I go real quick, I want to give a shout out to 2 organizations that mean a lot to me. Number 1, Blue Badge Coffee Company. These guys are a law enforcement owned coffee company. They are selling awesome coffee, premium coffee, but it's for a premium cause because a portion of every sale goes to support peer support programs around the country. So it's a law enforcement based and owned company that is giving back to the law enforcement community. You drink coffee every day, give them a shot. It's great coffee. I enjoy it, and they're doing great things for the community. And number 2 is the Overwatch Collective, a 501c3 organization that is providing services, therapeutic services to individuals in the first responder community, to their families, to military veterans, to individuals who are suffering from any sort of mental unwellness and need some therapeutic services. Their belief is that 1 more is 1 less. In other words, 1 more individual that we can get these services to is 1 less potential suicide, is 1 less potential meltdown, is 1 less potential breakdown. These guys are doing incredible work to keep our first responders healthy, mentally healthy, fit for duty, and alive, most importantly. So support those organizations if you can. And if you have an organization that is supporting the law enforcement and first responder community and you want to get a shout out on the podcast, just send me a DM, shoot me a message. I would love to represent and support your organization as well. It's a service that I offer completely free of charge because I want to make sure the good people who are doing good things for our community are recognized and acknowledged for the good things that they are doing. Folks, thanks so much for listening to the podcast. I'll be back with 2 more this week, but until next time, you are out of roll. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to subscribe, like, rate, and share this podcast so that we can spread the benefits of Stoicism to other first responders. It will only take you a few moments, but it can help us tremendously. Until next time, out of roll.